Yes. Next one, see, we'll see SQL Server instances. We'll see. In general, remember, whenever we are installing SQL Server one time, we are calling it as one instance. Instance. Okay. Basically, remember, instance is nothing but what? Same copy of SQL Server. Copy of SQL Server. One copy. Generally, a separate copy of same software product is called a instance here. Instance. Okay. Each SQL Server installation creates one instance. Okay. Whenever we are installing SQL Server one time, okay, it creates one instance here. Okay. So that is like yeah. So yeah, we have to understand here like instance is there just a one copy of SQL Server. Why we need multiple instances in real time in general, remember, yeah, in one machine we have one instance. In one machine it is we have what? One instance in general. Okay, one machine we have one instance. But we can have multiple instances also. In general, in development server, remember, we can have multiple instances, but in production server, we have only one instance. In one server, one instance in general. But why we need this multiple instances? Multiple instances are there here basically to divide the databases. Okay, to divide the databases into what different yeah, separately, differently. So generally here we are going with multiple instances. Okay, right. One second. Yeah, multiple instances are there here. So suppose let's say one banking environment is there. In banking environment, for example, we have different instances may be there. Okay, one is here like one instance for net banking, one instance for loans department, one instance for cards department. Like this here, multiple instances may be there here in a banking environment, for example. Like this here, just what I'm saying, to group the databases. Okay, to group the databases, remember, we need what? Multiple instances. Okay? To group the databases, we have to understand we need multiple instances. Understood, right? Yes, yes. So that's why we have to understand here. Instances are there to group the databases. The same way, in future, remember, maintenance also becomes easy for us. Suppose here, like if all the databases I'm maintaining in single instance, all the databases means loans department, cards department, net banking, all the databases I'm maintaining in single instance. Then what happens? Tomorrow, if you want to perform some maintenance activity, right? So, yeah, we need, if I make the instance down, okay, to apply some patches or something, if I make the complete instance down, then what will happen? Complete instance is down, then what will happen? All the departments are down, right? Net banking is not working, cards are not working, right? Loans department is not working. Why? Because all the databases are there in single instance. Understood, right? Yes, that's why to avoid this problem, what we can do, instead of maintaining all the databases in one instance, we can divide the databases here into multiple instances. Multiple instances we have to understand. One instance for loans department, here loans related databases. One instance for net banking, okay. One instance for credit cards, like this here. We can divide the databases into multiple instances. Okay. Tomorrow, let's say I'm doing some maintenance activity on loans instance. Only loans in department cannot work, right? Only that server is down. Other servers are working, other instances are running. That's why users can continue their work. Users can continue their works here. That is like we have to understand what is the purpose of instance, why we have to create what different instances. Understood, right? Dividing the databases in separately or grouping the databases here separately is the main purpose of what instances. Okay, right. So how we can create a instance? Just remember, by installing SQL Server, we are creating one instance. Whenever we run the setup, whenever we install SQL Server one time, remember, one instance is created. Okay. That's why just remember in one machine, single machine, we can have maximum 50 instances here in one single machine, single laptop, for example. But it depends on like memory, everything, right? So if 50 instances are there in same machine, then remember problem is there, right? Means what, like we can't yeah, so we can't work with that 50 instances at a time, right? Okay, so where is memory, where is CPU for 50 instances? That's why what I'm saying, option is there here, like this the maximum limit is there, but we can't work with that 50 instances at a time. Okay, so, but option is it. In general, remember in production server, we have, in one machine, we have one instance, but in development server, we can have multiple instances. This is my development server, for example, one instance related to one client, another instance related to another client, another instance related to another client. Like this here in development server, we can have multiple instances. But in production server, remember, we are maintaining one instance in general in one machine. Okay, right. Once again, here SQL Server supports here two types of instances, here default and named instances. Okay, so just remember, whenever we are installing SQL Server, it will ask which type of instance you want to create. Okay, let's say I want to create a default instance. Okay, so we can select the option default. So if I select the option named instance, it will ask the instance name. Instance name, we can mention some instance name like SBI loans. In that here, loans related databases, for example. Like this here, just understood here, two types of instances are there in SQL Server, default and named instance. And always remember, default instance service name is MS SQL Server. We have seen a main service is what SQL Server is our main service, which process the queries, right? So that's why this main service, instance name is what our default instance name is what, uh, yeah, MS SQL servers here. That means what if you see MS SQL server, then we have to understand that it is a default instance. default instance here. Okay, right. That's like two types of instances are there, default instance and named instance. But see which type of instance we have to install. Everything like our yeah, we'll get one installation ticket will get actually in real time. In that installation ticket, they will mention. Okay, we have to go with what which type of instance. Everything they will mention here in the installation. Okay, so depends on that here we can connect, we can install actually. This instance name, everything will get actually in the installation ticket. After that, remember, we can start what installation process. I will show you before installing. I will show the ticket, how we'll get what information is there in the ticket. Okay, right, right. So that's why remember, always remember, only one default instance is allowed per machine of any version. Only one default instance. Its service name is what? MS SQL Server. But say like for named instance here, we have instance name is there in the bracket. Okay, and we can have maximum 49 named instances. Already we know total 50. One default instance, maximum 49 name instances. Let's say I will connect to one of my server. We'll see. Yeah, check here. I'm connecting to one of my instance. This is my system name. Yes, RV1 is the instance name. Connect. Okay. So check here. Now we can see here. See system name slash yes RV1. If you see only system name, okay, so like yeah, so that is like yeah, so next year like in that year like instance name is there. See, if you see only system name like this, then remember it is a default instance. Okay, right, right. So next year like yeah, so in that say like yeah, we can connect here. See, we can start working with default instance. This is our named instance. We can see the instance services here by using the command also. Check here, server services. Yes, check here. Yes, RV one is there. Here in brackets here instance name is there, right? Okay. So yeah, next year like yeah, so like let's say like yeah, this is our default SQL Server service. This is agent service, right? So already we have seen whenever we submit any query, that query is processed by SQL Server service. Okay, so next like after that, say like agent is it? Agent is for automation. Already we have seen SQL Server agent service is there basically for what? Automation. Means what? To schedule the task, to schedule the activities, it's to schedule the jobs, everything in SQL Server. We have agent service. Okay, right, right. Next here, yeah, that's why we have to understand it is a named instance. If it is a default instance, remember here in bracket we have MS SQL Server. Okay, right, right. Check here, like again in one machine. For example, one machine is there with the name server one. Let's say your laptop is there. In that machine, remember, I have installed SQL Server 2 times. This is one time, for example. Okay, this is one time. Check here. Check here. This here, see, this server name is equal to my system name, right? This instance name is equal to my host name or system name. That's why we are calling it as what? Default instance, right? So whereas here, see, system name slash some name is there. It is a named instance, right? That is like two types of instances are there, say default and named instances. We have to understand two types of instances, default and named instances. Okay, right. So again, here in a instance, we have databases here. Hierarchy we have to understand. Under instance, we have databases, one or more databases. Under database, we have schema. Under schema, we have objects here, tables, views, stored procedures, functions, like this here, objects. Okay, so here see schemas are there here. Just to group the tables, we have schemas here. Okay, we'll see later. Just remember to group the tables, we have schemas. Suppose one database is there, college database is there. In that database, we can create one schema for library, one schema for hostel. In that, we can store the tables like library dot books, okay? Library dot students. Okay, so hostel dot students. Like this, say like we can group the tables actually within of our schemas. Understood, right? Hierarchy. In one machine, we can have one or more instances. Under each instance, we have databases. Under DB schema, under the objects. Clear, right? If any queries are there, please feel free to type in the chat panel if any simple doubts are there. Okay. Whenever you have any simple doubts are there, please feel free to type in the chat panel. Okay. So I will repeat again or I will answer again. Anyhow, I will provide you the recorded video, right? Daily recordings, please go through one time. Okay, it will be clear for us. Any confusion is it? And already have said I will provide you my WhatsApp number. Still, if any queries are there, doubts are there, you can contact me. Okay. Yes. Yes. Understood, right? It is clear for all people. Mahesh, Ram, Naveen. Two types of instances we have seen. Default and named instances. Hierarchy, just we have to understand. Hierarchy internally how SQL Server is maintaining the databases internally. Okay, what is the hierarchy is it as part of SQL Server? Right. Yes. Check your next one. Next here, instance summary. Yeah, instance summary is it very very important for us. See, instance is nothing but what? One server. We have to understand SQL Server. SQL Server. And we have summarized already, whenever we are installing SQL Server one time, we are creating one instance, right? Whenever we are installing SQL Server one time, we are creating one instance. Yes. And check here, like every instance has, yeah, no problem. Check here, every instance has four major components. Here, as a DBA, we have to understand these four major components of every instance. Check here, every instance has its own services. Here, every instance has its own services, like SQL Server service, SQL Server agent, we have seen no main services. Okay, already we know SQL Server service is used to process the user queries. Means whatever the command user is submitting, those commands are executed by which service? SQL Server service, right? Whereas SQL Server agent is basically for automation purpose. Agent is for what purpose? For automation. Means any scheduled activity. Already we know as a DBA, 80 to 90% tasks we are going to schedule, right? Those scheduled activities are implemented by which service? Agent service. Here see, generally we'll create jobs, alerts, we'll create here. Those jobs and alerts are executed by which service? Agent service. Okay, right, right. So that is like two main services we have to understand. Two main services we have to understand. Already we have seen previously also. So which is our main service? SQL Server is our main service, which process the user queries. Okay, right. That's why tomorrow we stop the server, start the server. Means what? We have to stop this service. We have to restart this service, which is our main service, agent service. Okay, right. Next year, every instance has its own folders here. Means what? Whenever we are installing SQL Server, automatically in the background, some folders are created automatically. See, previously we have seen basic installation. I have shown you, I think, in the last class, basic installation, right? So in case of basic installation, remember, automatically six folders are created. If I go with custom installation, means custom installation means what? With all the services, with all the services, means like a complete database engine services. If I go with custom installation, then remember we'll get 8 folders are created. With custom installation, 8 folders are created. Okay, with basic installation, remember, yeah, 6 folders are created. We'll see. Custom installation with complete database engine features, 8 folders are created automatically. Check here one time. One of our instance. Previous day we have installed one instance, MS SQL Server 07, right? 07. Connect. Right click on the instance properties here. We can see here in which location, in which path we have installed this instance, how many folders are there for this instance. We can see here. Okay, in which path we have installed, how many folders are there, we can see here. Okay, check here properties. Yeah, root directories here. This is the installation path, is it? Copy this path. Okay, go to run, paste. Okay, yeah, here see we can see the instance folders. Okay, so here we can see the instance folders here. Check here, 6 folders are there, right? Why? Because yesterday we have yeah, done this basic installation we have seen. That's why by default 6 folders are there here. We'll see one by one folder, just one point. We'll see later. We'll discuss. Backup is a default folder for backup. Means what? Whenever we are taking backup of any database from this instance without mentioning the path, okay, by default backups are generated into this folder. Check here, if I right click on any database, tasks, backup, see here, in which path it is writing backup folder, see, right? Yes, we'll see that again. Next here, bin and install folders are called software folders. Bin folder is there, binaries folder is there. Here instance exe and dll files are there. Instance exe and dll files are there, main files are there through which our instance is working. Okay, in the bin folder. That's why we are not going to touch this bin folder. Okay, right. Next here, like data folder is there. Here the database files are there. Means what? Whenever we create a new database, its data and log files are stored, created in what? Data folder. Check here. I will create one new database, for example, SQLDB. Okay, yeah. Check here. Database is ready. Now, if I go to data folder, we can see here SQLDB data file. This is log file. See here, right? By default, remember every database has its own data file and log files. Okay, right. That's why default location is what? Default location is data folder. Default location is what? Data folder. We can customize all these folders later. We'll see. Install, we have seen some installation scripts are there. Jobs folder is there. Jobs folder, jobs are there here for what purpose? For maintenance purpose. Means what? To schedule any activity in SQL Server, we have jobs are there. So for that we have jobs folder is there. Log folder is there, very important folder. Check here, log folder consists of error logs. We have to understand. Log folder consists of what? Error logs here. Okay, understood, right? Okay, so that is like a log folder consists of what? Error logs. Already we know what is the purpose of error log. Error logs maintains here all the errors. Means what? Whenever something happen in SQL Server, that's why already we know we are scheduling 80% activities, right? Like backups, log shipping, replication, mirroring, always on. All these are scheduled activities. We have to understand. All these are scheduled activities. All the scheduled activities are implemented by already we know agent service. For example, yesterday night backup failed, for example. Okay, how we know what is the exact reason why backup failed, right? Suppose like log shipping fail, mirroring fail, how we know exactly? That's where remember we have to check in this error log, first error logs here, which is called current error log. In this log, we have to check. SQL Server will write very clear message here, why backup fail. Okay, so why backup fail? it will write very clear message. Depends on that error message, we can plan for troubleshooting. Understood, right? Yes, yes. Let's remember error logs are there which maintains here see error logs are very important for us for DBS. So always we have to see this current error log we have to see. First one here. Why we have other logs we'll see in the second module, we'll see in detail. So but remember always we have to check this current error log, we have to check always. Okay, current error log we have to see always. Right, directly remember we can open this current error log in Notepad. Notepad, we can see the current logs here. Just open this log, double click on this. Okay, okay. Yes, here it is showing when the server was restarted. All the server startup steps also recorded here. Internally, how the server is started, those steps are also recorded here, step by step information. That's why we have seen, see, name is error log. Name is error log. Just remember, not only errors, some information is also recorded here. Okay, name is error log. Not only errors, some information is also recorded. Understood, right? Yes. So just remember 100% errors are recorded here. Every error is recorded here, but 10% information is also recorded. Okay, like server startup steps, right? Whenever we are starting the server, what is happening in the background? Server startup steps. Okay, so some other details are also recorded here. Just now we have created the database, right? So SQLDB, the database creation details also recorded. Some errors also are there here. Some errors. Error number is there. Error description is there. By using this description, we can troubleshoot the problem. Understood, right? All people. What is the purpose of error log? Very important for us. Okay. Right. So we can check the error logs here in the log folder. We can see in the same way in SSMS here under management also we can see here SQL Server log. Same first log we have to check. Check here. Same thing it is showing. So in the same way by using the command also we can see the error log. By taking new query, we can read the error logs here. SP read error log. Here, same step, same it is showing. Okay, step by step details it is showing. Right. So like this, what is the purpose of error logs? We have to understand. In next module, we'll see in detail again. These are folders are there as part of SQL Server. Whenever we install SQL Server, these folders are created. Right. Next here, every instance has its own system databases here. Means what? Whenever we install SQL Server, automatically five databases are created. 5 system databases are created automatically. Okay, so these system databases are there which maintains the metadata. System databases maintains what? Instance metadata. Okay, means what? Metadata means what? Information. Suppose here here see previously we have installed SQL Server. Check here how many databases are there by default here. See, there are no user databases, right? Just now we have created this. But if you see system databases, master, model, MSDB, TempDB, one more hidden database is there, resource database is there. Resource here. Okay, means what? Totally 5 system databases are created by default. Totally 5 system databases are created by default. Okay, which maintains the instance metadata. Instance metadata. We have to understand. Just one point we'll see what is there in which system database. Later we'll see in detail. Okay, right. Check here. First one, master database. We have to understand these databases, important for us. Master database is that master database is our main database, which consists of instance level metadata. Means what? Total instance level metadata is it? Means what? In what is the instance name, instance ID? How many databases are there in this instance? How many logins are there? That complete instance level metadata is there, sir, in master database. And once again, remember, it is a startup database of SQL Server. Okay, means what? Whenever we start SQL Server, server is started with server is started with the master database. Means what? We have to understand here indirectly. Tomorrow, if master database is corrupted or damaged, okay, instance cannot be started. Okay, we have to troubleshoot that problem. We need to troubleshoot that problems here. We have to understand. Okay, right. Next one, say like a model database is it? Model database is it? Name itself is saying model data model. Model database is a template for new databases. Means what? Whenever we create a new database, it is created with how much size, with what settings, it depends on model database. Okay, so with how much size, what settings, depends on what model database here. Okay, right. So that is like model database is it? To data, which is a template for new databases. Check here, for example, I will try to create a new database. It is taking same size of models here, 8 MB, 8 MB. Suppose if I change the model database size, files, data file size 80 MB, log file size 8 MB. Okay. See here, whenever we create a new database, same size here, 80 MB, 8 MB. Just remember, whatever the changes we'll make in model database, with the same settings, new databases are created. Understood, right? That's why we are calling it as a template for new databases. But remember, as a DBA, we are not working regularly with model database. Then next one, say like MSDB database is there. Microsoft scheduling database. Microsoft scheduling database, which basically remember total automation information, like we have jobs, alerts, maintenance plan, database mail, all these total automation information is there in which database? Yeah, so in MSDB database, which is very, very important database. Okay, so that is like yeah, so that is like yes, so let's remember like MSDB database we have to work with regularly. Understood it? Yeah. Uh, 1 second. Right. So MSDB database is there, which is important database. Total automation information is there in MSDB. Okay. So which service uses MSDB? SQL Server service or SQL Server agent service? Naveen, which service uses MSDB database in the background? Yeah. Yes. Ram is saying agent, correct. Already we know agent is for automation, right? That's why agent service uses what? MSDB database. Okay. Yes. Yes. Next year, uh, TempDB database is it, which maintains all the temporary objects, right? Temporary tables, okay? Temporary stored procedures, cursors, okay? The process of sorting, grouping, joining, reindexing, all these happens in TempDB database. Just remember, TempDB database is like our system's RAM. RAM, what its meaning? So whenever we restart SQL Server, automatically remember TempDB is cleared. TempDB is cleared once we restart SQL Server. Automatically it is cleared. So TempDB is cleared automatically. Understood, right? Yes. So that is like important for us. We'll see later. Why? Because whatever the data is there in TempDB, that data is not required for us. That's why whenever the server is restarted, TempDB is cleared. Okay. Yes. Check here one time. SP read error log. Already we know whenever we start SQL Server, server startup events are recorded in what? Error log, right? We can see here always it is started with master database. Check here very clearly, clearing TempDB database it is saying. See, understood, right? Yes. So that's why remember whenever we restart SQL Server, fresh TempDB is created automatically. Already have said TempDB is like our system's RAM, right? Whenever you restart the laptop, RAM is cleared, right? Same thing, remember, TempDB is the temporary objects are maintained here. Right, right. So resource database is a one of a hidden database which is for patching purpose. Later we'll see. And last one's here error logs. Already we know what is there in the error log. We have seen already, right? Error log maintains remember 100% errors plus some information. But basically, remember, error logs are there basically to maintain the errors. All the errors are recorded into what? Error logs. We have to understand. Okay, right, right. So these are the four major components are there which we have to understand as a DBA very clearly. Every instance has its own services, its own folders, its own system databases where the metadata is there and error logs here. Means what? In any database error is there, that error is recorded here, see in the error log. In any database in the particular instance. Understood, right? Yes, yes. That is like what is the purpose of error logs? You have to understand. Clear, right? These four major components. Any doubts are there? Please feel free to type if any simple queries are there in the chat panel. Yeah, at any time you can ask me questions. Means like related to these concepts what we are discussing. Okay. Yeah, I will try to answer. Mahesh, it is clear. Naveen, Sheikh, Ramanjan. Understood, right? Instance summary. What is there with every instance? Okay. Yeah. That's why feel free to type if any simple doubts are there. You can ask me the questions. Okay. Why? Because it should be interactive session. Okay. So that yeah, things should be clear. Now when it is clear, what is the instance summary we have seen? Okay. Mahesh, I think already you have knowledge, Mahesh. Yeah, you can use the chart panel, Mahesh. SQL Server agent is not started. SQL Server agent is there or not there? You can right click, you can start actually if it is there. If there is no SQL Server agent, then you are installing Express Edition. In Express Edition, we don't have agent. Is not started, no problem. Right click on the agent, right click on this, start, it will start. Okay, yes. Not there means if you see right click properties, here you can see Express Edition. In Express Edition, we don't have agent service. Maybe you have installed Express Edition. In Express Edition, which is a free edition actually, so we don't have agent service. Okay, right, right. What I will do, we'll conclude the session here. We'll see again tomorrow. What are the prerequisites are there to install SQL Server? We'll see. After that, I will show you again custom installation. System requirements we'll see. Then we'll see custom installation, how we can do installation in real time. Okay, right.